Hawke's Bay officials have asked the government to declare the region in drought after the driest 6 months in more than 60 years. Farmers and officials have been meeting in Hastings and have agreed financial assistance is needed to provide relief for affected farmers. Northland has already been declared a drought zone and Waikato has requested the declaration as well. Jerem Watts is in Hawke's Bay and joins me now. Jerem.
Good morning, Rachel, from a farm here about half an hour north of the Napier Airport. There's a little bit of rain here yesterday, about 8 millimetres, but before that, they hadn't had rain here since February the 5th when 10 millimetres fell. And it's that long, hot, dry period that's been going on for a while now that has forced them yesterday to officially request the government to declare them a drought zone. The Waikato, they've requested 2. The Wairarapa are meeting today. They may also ask the government for that drought announcement. That may not be decided for the next couple of days, though. The declaration, the request yesterday didn't actually come as a surprise. The farmers here, it's no shock to them that they've asked for this because they know just how hot and dry it can get here in the summer. They've taken preemptive action. They've been destocking since Christmas. This farm in particular is run by Bruce Wills. He's the Federated Farmers Hawke's Bay president. And he said he knew this was coming, so he took preemptive action. He's let his grass grow a lot longer. Back in 2007, when there was another really hot, dry spell, a drought back then, this farm here was dust. So he's doing a little bit better this time round. And he says if there is a drought declared, more than anything, it'll provide farmers with that mental relief, just to take a little bit of the stress off, because the financial pressure on them is huge. And on that financial note, Rachel, the BNZ came out saying that farmers who are affected by this dry spell can request a 6% $100,000 overdraft to try and get them through this period.
All right, Jerem Watts, thank you. The government is being asked to formally declare the Hawke's Bay region in drought. The request comes after a meeting between farmers, local councils and the Ministry of Primary Industries. Hawke's Bay farmer and Federated Farmers President Bruce Wills joins me now. Hi Bruce, thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
So what is the situation like in Hawke's Bay for you at the moment?
Listen, we've been in drought mode here in Hawke's Bay for some months now. It's got to the stage where, as you stated, we had a community meeting yesterday, and the collective view was that it is time to ask the government to step in. It's starting to bite, and we've got some people really hurting here in Hawke's Bay.
OK, so what are farmers doing? What are they forced to do? Are they selling off stock? Are they running out of grazing? What's happening there?
One thing we're pretty practiced at here in Hawke's Bay is coping with these droughts. So we've got some of our areas, particularly central Hawke's Bay, around that Waipawa area, that they've been destocking since prior to Christmas. So this is one of the things with drought is it creeps up on us, and it's been creeping up on us now for we've had 6 months of particularly dry weather, but it's getting really concerning for us in that I guess winter's not too far away, and if we don't have rain soon, we're going to be September, October before we have any decent cover on our country.
So do you have any idea what it's cost the region so far?
It's going to take it's going to be quite a hit to balance sheets. I know many of us, me included, we're selling stock much earlier than we would normally at lighter weights. I did see a number come out of one of the banks yesterday that so far, this is not just Hawke's Bay, economy-wide, we're talking about $1 billion off our export receipts thus far. And of course, when a drought gets this serious, it's the next few weeks that can really start to add to that number.
In terms of history, in terms of your memory, how bad is the situation there at the moment compared to years gone by and previous droughts?
We saw some figures yesterday at the Hawke's Bay Regional Council meeting that surprised most of us. We have to go back in Hawke's Bay to 1952 to find a drier 6-month period. So this is quite historic. Where I farm up here, we're not quite as bad. A little bit patchy in the bay, but certainly in the central part where most of our farming businesses are run, you're going back almost 60 years to find something similar.
How much rain do you need then to right the situation, if you like, heading into winter? How much do you need?
Soil deficits is pretty severe now. We're going to need a good 150 mils of gentle rain just to soften the soil. Then we're going to need that sort of rainfall 2 or 3 times over, gently over progressive weeks. So a lot of catch-up to come through, and we hope it all doesn't come at once.
This has also triggered a debate there too, Bruce, about whether or not there should be a dam built, the Ruataniwha Dam, to help Hawke's Bay farmers in the event of future droughts. It would, of course, come with some environmental challenges, I imagine, but what's your position on that, whether this huge dam should be built?
For farmers like myself in Hawke's Bay, I guess we have a pretty clear view on this dam. For us, it just makes sense. For all of us here in Hawke's Bay, we get plenty of rain, but the problem is it comes at the wrong time of year. We get more rain than we need in the winter. This time of year we suffer with not enough. So for most farmers, it's a common sense answer to dig a hole, store some water at time of plenty, and use it at times of shortage. So we're very supportive of this dam going ahead, and it will be a wonderful mitigation option to dryland farming here in Hawke's Bay.
All right, Bruce Wells, Federated Farmers President and a farmer there in the Hawke's Bay. Appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.
Cheers.
Hawke's Bay officials have asked the government to declare the region in drought after the driest 6 months in more than 60 years. Farmers and officials have been meeting in Hastings and have agreed financial assistance is needed to provide relief for affected farmers. Northland has already been declared a drought zone and Waikato has requested the declaration as well. Jerem Watts is in Hawke's Bay and joins us now. Jerem.
Yeah, Rachel, good morning from a farm about half an hour north of the Napier Airport. There's a little bit of rain here yesterday, but before then they hadn't had rain for a month, since February the 5th, and back then 10 millimetres fell. And it's been this long, hot, dry summer that has forced the local authorities, farmers here, to officially request the government to declare this region a drought zone. You mentioned the Waikato, they've also requested it. The Wairarapa, they're meeting today. They're going to decide whether they also request that drought declaration. The Minister for Primary Industries, Nathan Guy, is away at the moment, and it's expected that he may make that decision in the next couple of days.
Jerem, there's also a suggestion that a dam could be built to bring some relief to farmers in future in the event of drought. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's the Ruataniwha Dam. It's about an hour south of here, heading towards Hastings. It's a $235 million proposal. That's the estimated cost of it. But there's a basin area down there that is expected to fill up with rain 39 out of 40 winters. And that could irrigate an extra about 25,000 hectares of land. So farmers here say, look, it just makes sense if they can get that done, because it could provide a bit of relief during tough times like this.
All right, Jerem Watts, thank you. Hawke's Bay officials have asked the government to declare the region in drought after the driest 6 months in more than 60 years. Farmers and officials have been meeting in Hastings and have agreed financial assistance is needed to provide relief for affected farmers. Northland has already been declared a drought zone and Waikato has requested the declaration as well. Jerem Watts is in Hawke's Bay and joins me now. Jerem.
Good morning, Rachel, from a farm about 30 minutes north of the Napier Airport. They had a little bit of rain yesterday, about 5 to 8 millimetres, but before that they haven't had rain here for a month. And it's that long, hot, dry spell that has prompted them to request the government to declare this area an official drought zone. The Waikato, they're waiting on a decision. That could come within the next couple of days, but it looks like the MPI Minister Nathan Guy might wait to make that announcement together. The Waikato, the Hawke's Bay, the Wairarapa, they're meeting today too, so we could see one announcement for 3 areas to declare a drought zone here, because it's very dry. The farmers, they're light on stock and light on feed.
And saying that, Jerem, the bad news for farmers has been pretty good news for fruit and wine growers in Hawke's Bay, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. So the orchardists, they're really happy at the moment. They feel for the farmers, but they've got to make hay while the sun shines. I was on an apple orchard yesterday. The farmer there says usually they get about 64 tonnes per hectare of apples. He said they're expecting yields of between 84 and 100 tonnes. So they're very happy at the moment, and this is what he said to me.
You know, it's one of those seasons that we've been waiting for a while, actually, because the last 2 years have been pretty hard. We've had a lot of wet conditions, and you know, the harvest is going to be easy because we've got people that, you know, not getting rained on every day, and it's looking pretty good for us at the moment.
That was Carl Ferry. He's a fourth generation apple farmer here in the Bay, so he's been through a lot. He's seen these hot, dry summers before, but he says, things are good for the moment. That hot weather's really sweetened up those apples, so looking good for exporters at the moment there.
All right, Jerem Watts in Hawke's Bay. Hawke's Bay officials have asked the government to declare the region in drought after the driest 6 months in more than 60 years. Farmers and officials have been meeting in Hastings and have agreed financial assistance is needed to provide relief for affected farmers. Northland has already been declared a drought zone and Waikato has requested a declaration as well. Jerem Watts is in Hawke's Bay, just north of Napier. He joins us now. Jerem.
Yeah, good morning, Rachel. We're about half an hour north of the Napier airport. This particular area had about 5 millimetres of rain last night, but before that, nothing for a month, nothing since February the 5th. And it's that long, hot, dry period that's been going since late last year around Christmas that has forced farmers in this region and the local authorities to request that drought declaration. They have been taking preemptive action, though. A lot of farmers here have been destocking since Christmas and letting the grass grow a bit longer. This farm in particular is run by Bruce Wills. He's the Federated Farmers President for the Hawke's Bay. Back in 2007, when the last drought hit, he said this area here was just completely dust. But as you can see, he's got a lot of grass coverage here, even though it is very dry. But he says everyone here is still counting the cost.
It's going to be quite a hit to balance sheets. I know many of us, me included, we're selling stock much earlier than we would normally at lighter weights. I did see a number come out of one of the banks yesterday that so far, this is not just Hawke's Bay, economy-wide, we're talking about $1 billion off our export receipts thus far.
So that's Bruce Wills, owner of this farm. Yesterday, that's when they met. They requested the drought package. Waikato, they're still waiting on that declaration. But the MPI Minister, Nathan Guy, is away at the moment. And the Wairarapa farmers, they're having a meeting today. So it looks likely that if an announcement is due to come, it may be that Waikato, Hawke's Bay and the Wairarapa all get announced at the same time.
All right, Jerem Watts. Hawke's Bay officials have asked the government to declare the region in drought after the driest 6 months in more than 60 years. Farmers and officials have been meeting in Hastings and have agreed financial assistance is needed to provide relief for affected farmers. Northland's been declared a drought zone. Waikato has requested the declaration as well. Jerem Watts is in Hawke's Bay and joins us now. Jerem.
Rachel, the last time this area had a decent dump of rain was the 5th of February. That's over a month ago. And you can probably see behind me, it's just so dry here. The grass it's long, but there's no green anywhere. And that's prompted the local authorities and farmers to request that drought declaration. It's a similar situation. The Waikato, they're waiting for a decision there. And I mentioned before that the Wairarapa were meeting today. They're not meeting today. They're meeting on March the 12th to discuss whether they apply for a drought package or not. So farmers here waiting desperately to see if they will get that financial assistance or not.
The bad news in Hawke's Bay, Jerem, for farmers has actually been quite good news, though, for fruit growers and winemakers, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's the beauty of creation. I guess a blessing for one is a curse for another. So I was in the talking to an apple grower yesterday. He says at this time of the year, usually they get about 64 tonnes per hectare of apples. And he's expecting yields of between 85 and 100. So they're incredibly happy with the growth at the moment. This is what he told me.
It's one of those seasons that we've been waiting for a while, actually, because the last 2 years have been pretty hard. We've had a lot of wet conditions, and the harvest is going to be easy because we've got people that not getting rained on every day, and it's looking pretty good for us at the moment.
Craig Ferry, he's a fourth generation apple farmer. He has seen almost everything, all kinds of conditions at this time of the year, and he really does feel for the farmers. But for him and other apple growers, pip fruit growers in the area, they really just have to make hay while the sun shines. It's good for them.
All right, Jerem Watts and